Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Vicorva, you can call me V, and today I am streaming more Roadwarden, which is just so good, and I'm sure we're very close to the Necromancer village, and I am going to befriend them, and I'm going to impress them, because I had a bath. It's gonna be great. Hello and welcome to Rowan, to Quirrell, to the Nine-Tailed System, including Kayama, to Sario, and to Puffluffle! Hi! So exciting that you've made it! And to anyone else who might be hanging out and lurking right now. So, yes, I'm very excited to jump back into this. Sibura says, calling it now, the necromancers will just not like you despite your best intentions. There's no way! They're gonna love me. I'm gonna pull out all the stops. I'm gonna be so friendly. Okay. So, the phrase soul carrier describes any shell inhabited by a soul, including humans, spirits, and the right themselves. I don't think we've met the right yet, but it's spelled like, perhaps as some kind of crafters. Interesting. Okay. Okay, we just escaped being attacked by foxes because we walked into their environment. The dusk foxes observe you as you climb up the saddle. They're growling and walking in circles. One of the pups knocks down their sibling, starting a playful fight. There's no reason to bother them. Alright, I'm so glad that we got out of that without hurting any of the foxes. Thanks everyone, I was panicking. I appreciated the advice. I think we just continue on. Puffluffle says maybe they fly planes. Oh, you know? Yeah. Maybe they do. Rowan says maybe the right are what the necromancers call themselves. Ooh. Yeah, Fluffle, it took me a second, but I got there. Kayama says not hurting the foxes is always the best advice. Not that I'm biased or anything. Yeah. It is the best advice, for sure. You're squeezed between the hills and the forests. And there's magpies. The only larger beast you spot is a single saurian basking on a boulder, lazily observing you from a safe distance. Your ears catch the howls coming from the north, long and loud, and as you keep an eye on the rock ledges, you almost miss the drastic shift in the landscape. The forest turns into a lake, and the few plants growing next to the road mostly bear fruit. Oh, what is that? The road is not as reliable here as it was in the hills. Parts of it are a bit muddy, and the puddles disturb your ride. Maybe the locals will maintain it before it gets swallowed by the lake. Uh-oh, bug sounds. Ugh. The deep, loud yells of howlers are piercing your ears, concealing any other sound in the area. They're sitting on branches and in the tall grass, not really trying to hide. Their thick black and gold furs cover their entire shells, aside from the charcoal black faces with roundish flat noses and wide nostrils. The younger members of the pack are about the size of your mount's head, but the larger ones would be chest high if it wasn't for the fact they walk on all fours. Their long tails are like an additional arm, helping them climb, hang from the branches, or hold food while they eat. They aren't particularly muscular, but when they form their pink lips into the shape of a cup to release their howls, their mouths are so wide they could fit your entire arm inside. As you listen to the shouts, you're reaching for your head. You feel a weird itch, but somehow you can't touch it. Ugh, okay. Keeping my distance, I take a look at the skin behind the boulder. This is interesting. Okay. Quirrell says time to mute game audio. This game has such good atmosphere though. I think I'm not going to do it here unless it's really bothering anyone because I love the atmosphere. But when we were in that swarm of mosquitoes, it was pretty bad. I should have done it then. Coral says, are these monkeys? They sound like monkeys. I mean, there are howler monkeys on Earth, so I guess that's what they must be. The whitish rawhide covers the grass like a blanket, surrounded by paw prints. The howlers don't wait for you to approach it. One of the larger ones jumps on the ground, leaning on its hands and challenging you with its gaze. It has rather blunt teeth. Too bad I have nothing to plug my ears with, and it would be a decent spot for a fish trap if I had one. Okay, so I'm not very prepared. I only have rolling the dice options this time. So our options are... Oh, Calmly Enveloped! Hello! Lovely to have you here today. Talon! Hi, Talon. Talon, we were just talking earlier about how great your theme music was. I'm sure you'll get sick of us saying it, but it's just really good. So, our options are, I try to scare the howlers away. We're facing down a howler monkey right now. Or the monkeys may try to attack me, so I grab the rawhide quickly and flee. So are they in the way, or am I with the rawhide? I should get the rawhide. That seems useful. Should I try and grab it and run? I don't feel like I'm going to scare them if they're already trying to intimidate me. Talon says, oh no, couldn't get sick of hearing it. Really glad everyone likes. Good, good. It is so good. Call Me Bell says, I like to do that often, challenge others with my gaze. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna try and grab it. I think I'm just gonna grab it and run. I got it. You stretch out your legs and dash ahead. At first, the monkeys move away with a few unconvinced yells, but then those from above start to howl even deeper than before, and you feel as if your guts are starting to move, hitting against each other. How loud are these roars? You get dizzy, and soon the pain enters your skull, as if you're getting hit by a smith's hammer time and time again. Yet you manage to stay calm, focused on your goal. The larger creatures try to cut your path, but being on the ground, they can't keep up with your legs. Without stopping, you grab the rawhide, then carry on, waiting for a few heartbeats before you change direction rapidly, now getting closer to Shadowfax, the horse that has facts about shadows. By the time you reach the saddle, the beasts have already abandoned their pursuit. You take a few deep breaths, then inspect the rawhide. The wet, torn blanket is now worth as much as a bread crust. Still, it's not rotten. If the owner is around, they may recognize it. Alright, so it's not worth anything. It might still be useful. I still have to scare them away? What? Was it already bad, or did I do something to it? I feel like I'm missing this. Okay, let's go, let's go. We try to scare them away. Oh, I don't want to throw rocks at them. You're yards away from the closest tree. The howlers are climbing, swinging, browsing the leaves, and seeking bugs in the meadow. Only a few of them pay attention to you. You could start with an attack from a distance, but there's no way for you to take down an entire pack. The best you can hope for is scaring them off. They're not even paying attention to me. I'm not throwing rocks at them. Can I forget it and leave? For also the travel options available. Like, I'll click forget it and travel away. I'm just gonna leave. I have no quarrel with these monkeys. Let's move on. I have no quarrel with these monkeys. Quarrel, your name is actually an amazing pun. The lakeside is filled with chirping and cicadas and crickets, as well as the roaring of beasts from the northern hills. Farther down the road you see yellow, tall grasses, interwoven with flowers and bumblebees, while the peaceful water shines just as much as the wings of dragonflies. This road is often travelled, and the clatter of hooves carries far. Thanks to the vast field of view, the creatures hiding in the meadows are unlikely to jump on an animal as large as Shadowfax. In the distance, you see a palisade and a large building set on the side of a crossroad. Once you get closer, you hear a conversation from behind the wall. Two men are arguing about if they really just heard a horse. Maybe they know some useful rumors? Or there's no signpost anywhere nearby, so I better ask for directions. What do we think? Quirrell says my entire life is actually an amazing pun. I love that. Jabal, hello! Jabal says, are we intending to be going in the direction that the Necromancer Village isn't? No, we're going to go in the direction that the Necromancer Village is. Come on, you know it. Fluffle says it's me. Exactly. Exactly. Look at the stream title. It is Hug a Necromancer Day. We're going to make this happen. However, I don't know if I'm here. I probably should ask for directions. I'll start with that. Hopefully I can ask for rumors as well. Calmly Enveloped says I like that word, palisade. Yes, it's a lovely kind of description of architecture for sure. All right, and it has like a pleasant feeling. Oh, my phone is making noises. Let's turn this off. Sorry, everyone. I don't want to beep at everyone. Oh, ugh. Do not disturb. There we go. Calmly Enveloped says this music is very The Last of Us. You know, I was thinking that when we first started playing the game, I was thinking it sounded very The Last of Us. But I think the world building and mood so far has been more my speed and energy than The Last of Us. Jabal says you need to double back, V. I'll try and help you when you've looked around here a bit. Oh, really? Okay, so once I get the travel option, I'll ask for directions. Do you know the way to the Necromancer Village? Okay, here we go. Here's the little settlement. Shadowfax carries you toward the open gate on its own, welcoming an opportunity to rest by pushing out the air loudly through its nostrils. A nearby wooden pen won't offer much space for a horse, but should be enough for grazing and a nap. As you dismount, two men get up from the front stairs. Their clean-shaven faces reveal that they're in their early 20s. The first one is taller than you, broad-shouldered and wears light brown pants and a darker jacket, both of them made of leather. With an inviting smile, he gets up and moves to open the enclosure. His steps are heavy and slow, but every movement is marked with carefulness, assuring he won't knock anything down or anyone. The second man looks as different from his colleague as the sun and the moon. He's unusually short and wears a heavy cloak made of black fur, so large it could cover his entire shell. He opens the door of the building, hides his hand, and peeks into the room. Foggy! His voice is shrill and unconcerned. A messenger! Come! I take off some of my bundles and let my horse rest. Okay. This is interesting. Foggy is a good name, Quirrell. I agree. Jabal says, apologies if I'm out of sorts today. Discombobulating and bad week so far, and today is very high stress. Oh, I'm so sorry. You just really are not getting a break. Okay, so the hanging barrel sways in the wind, marking the place as an inn or a tavern. The building resembles a merchant's house from Hovlaven, whitewashed with oiled, elegant wooden beams. The fragile walls are high enough to avoid floods and snow, but you have no doubt that a troll or even a pebbler could easily break through them. The palisade is short, has hardly any support, and has no walkway for crossbowmen. Hardly enough even for a makeshift hamlet. Merlin, no. No. Down. Thank you. Sorry. Excuse me. Merlin's trying to bust through the anti-Merlin barrier that I've got next to my desktop. He's just looking at me now. Good boy, Merlin. Let's see. Yet it's the open harbour that makes you uneasy. Aside from the fish, any creature, aquatic or not, could just walk into the yard undisturbed. The path is covered with paw prints and claw marks. Better not to leave Shadowfax outside during the night. Krill says, no, the anti-Merlin palisade. Of course. Rowan says, Merlin wants to know why you were anti-Merlin now. Oh, Merlin doesn't know. Merlin is aware. Merlin is very loved. We are pro Merlin, but we are anti Merlin going and peeing on things. And Merlin stomping on my desktop. Those are just the two things. Well, I guess also the eating litter thing, but I shouldn't talk about that because you might hear me. Let's move on. Quirrell says Fluffle is staying home to look after Buddy today. He had another seizure. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, poor Buddy. Fluffle says Hugger Merlin Day. Every day is Hugger Merlin Day. Calmly envelops his anti-Merlin barrier. That's some strong magic. It really isn't. Stopping him getting on the desktop is a small empty cardboard box. Stopping him getting downstairs is a waist-high, like, deconstructed cardboard box. That's all it takes. A black and white bird swoops into the water, then flaps its wings and takes off with a silver, twitching creature in its talons. The large man clears his throat. And what have we here? Coming from afar, friend? Are there now horses in Howlers? His voice is stentorian, close to a shout. You vaguely recognize his accent from the city harbour. I'm just not doing very many accents. I'm sorry, everyone. Let's see. Fluffle says, I bet Buddy would love Merlin. He loves cats. Oh, do you know, Merlin actually is he quite likes dogs. He just doesn't like cats and children. That's the two things he can't cope with. I don't know why. I think maybe the family he came from originally must have had a dog or something. There was some crucial social window. He almost got eaten by dogs when he was an indoor-outdoor cat, because if they didn't bark, he would just let them run up to him and he wouldn't realize until they were nearly biting him. It's so good that he's an indoor cat now. So let's choose our approach for this large man. Friendly? Quite far, kind soul. Shadowfax came with me from Hovlaven, so just giving the information. Playful? I laugh. Far, far away indeed. You can't see it from here. I mean, that's quite fun. Distanced. They have donkeys and mouflons, but no horses. I came from the city. I stare at him in silence and look at the door, waiting for the keeper of this place. No. So intimidating is awful. Then we have vulnerable. Yeah, I have a long journey behind me. I need a place to rest. Okay. Let me know what you think. I'm thinking my favorites are friendly, playful, and vulnerable. I'm not sure what the best thing is. I like kind of calling a stranger kind soul, just because they've called me a friend. We're just like establishing some friendliness. Quirrell says, I think all cats should be indoor cats. I've kind of come to that decision myself, having grown up with indoor-outdoor cats and now having an indoor cat. Kayama says, I'm not sure V is ever going to pick the intimidating option. It's sort of the anti-V approach. Look, there may come a time. Maybe. Fluffle says, I like the friendly one. I also like the friendly one. Let's go with it. Rowan and Calmly Enveloped disagree about cats. I mean, different cats need different things. But... yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I've come around on indoor-only cats. But anyway, let's be friendly. Rowan says, no, I agree that my cat does not agree. Oh, gotcha. He nods appreciatively. A weird beast, I don't know what I'm saying. A donkey that can kill a man. You notice he keeps quite a distance from it and holds his hand close to his throwing club. Haven't seen one in a while. The roads here aren't that bad. They'll take you north and east with ease. You hear heavy footsteps. A woman shows up in the door and looks at you from the top of the stairs. She's even more towering and stout than her son, the man who just welcomed you, with a massive chest, and a pear-shaped face with a prominent chin. Her movements are composed and confident. She may be older than 50, with a mixture of grey and dark blonde hair. She has only one arm, the left one, notably muscular, and with a hand so large it could likely chop off Shadowfax's head with a single strike, or crush yours like a berry. Through the slits of her robe, made of creamy, worn fur, you spot her trunk-like legs. She runs her eyes over your blade, armour, and mount. Her lips form into something of a smile, distorted by the scar that runs through her mouth. Okay. The tall guy looks a lot like her. Quirrell says, look, donkeys are powerful magic. They can kill you, they just choose not to. The tall man spreads his arms, forming a chain between you and his mother. Meet Foggy, friend. Ma, the rider has come to us from Ovlaven. Just look at this horse. His powerful voice turns timid, and he keeps turning his head from left to right and back. Too bad we have no hay. It looks hungry. The woman looks at him with amusement, then glances at your palfrey. Aye, a cute monster you've brought, but not enough fat on it. If it ever breaks a leg, bring it here. We'll smoke it for winter. She vaguely stretches out her only hand. What brings you to Foggy Lake, love? Just stopping by? Her voice is hoarse, like that of a traveller who spent too many autumn nights in cold tents, yet carries a hint of motherly concern. I close the animal pen behind me and head toward the stairs. You won't find another shelter in this part of the Dragonwoods. The Dragonwoods. Especially not in creeks. She scratches her broad chin with sausage-like fingers. You drink? Friendly? I smile, in good company. I shake my head gently. I don't, but go ahead, I'll accompany you. I love having the option not to drink. In these stories, you never get the option. I make a single loud clap and rub my hands together. I wouldn't dare to insult your hospitality. Playful. Distanced, I nod from time to time. I shake my head, only if there's no water around. Intimidating, I raise my open palms, only with those I trust. Is that intimidating? I don't know. Vulnerable. Just kind of reserved, I don't know. Vulnerable. I put on a weak smile, not on an empty stomach. Oh, I'm like begging for some food. I sigh, I'm afraid not. Stronger drinks give me nightmares. Ooh. I think I want to not drink because I never get this option in games and I don't drink IRL. So it would be cool to be this big adventurer and not have to be someone who drinks. Colleen Veltz's massive chest makes me think of that one ridiculous Captain America comic book front art. I know just the one you mean. It is ridiculous. They're just like, everything about this woman is just like, describing it as like broadly as possible. It's interesting. I'm thinking friendly or stronger drinks give me nightmares. I love that. Sabira says the option to not drink is too rare IRL too. It absolutely is. I don't know if I talked about it much on stream, but like, people react very negatively when I say I don't drink, including trying to force me to drink. It is not pleasant. Thankfully, all of my friends are the kind of people who would never do that, but I mean, anyone more distant than them is an unknown, and that often goes poorly. Colleen Veldt says, I don't drink either. Yeah, I think it's actually quite common. So I don't know why it's such an issue, but anyway. Fluffle says, same, I've been laughed out of chats for asking if there are any dry meat versions. That's very reasonable. I'm so sorry. Colin says, what? They try to force you to drink? That's awful. Yeah, they try and annoy me into it. Say if I'm gonna come, they'll try and put alcohol in my drinks, etc. to try and convince me to just have the drink straight out. Like, you just don't... when you get to the point where people are like, you don't know that well, are like, ha ha ha, I'll put some alcohol in your drink. You just think, I don't want anything to do with you. And they think that they're being, like, chummy. It's terrible. I'm gonna say stronger drinks give me nightmares. I don't choose the vulnerable option very often. Jabal says that's awful, V, I'm sorry. Oh, don't worry. It doesn't come up very often these days because I just don't spend time with people that I'm not already friends with. Yeah. When I was in more, when I was in employment or when I was a student, it was more of a thing. But it's not a thing now. Let's see. Stronger drinks give me nightmares. I want to be vulnerable. Her eyes are sympathetic. I don't plan to get drunk either, but what you say sounds serious. Don't push yourself into drunkenness. Oh, she's nice. See, look, people just reward kindness in this game. I have been tricked. I was told this game is a dark fantasy. It's not. It's lovely. After an awkward pause, her voice gets stronger. Come, dear, share a story with me. I may have a snack to spare. Without waiting for your response, she walks inside. The tall man takes a deep breath. Go ahead, we'll take care of your horse, he encourages you with a gesture. And by that he means we won't do anything with it, adds the man in black fur. Oh, I need the dialogue to be separated by who is into new paragraphs when a new person speaks. It's so hard to narrate. Okay. Whenever his screechy words follow the deep voices of his companions, he sounds like a brat. We're not feeding or washing beasts that we won't put in a stew, but we'll keep an eye on it. Sure. They find new spots to rest, the side of a boat and a stool near the palisade. Okay. Without another word, I go up the stairs. I ask them if they plan to join us. Yeah, let's invite them to hang out. Talon says the last time I drank was years ago and I never missed it. Whenever I start drinking, I just keep thinking of how awful I'll feel later and the next morning, and that ruins all of it for me already. No thanks. Yeah, see, I know a lot of people where that's the case as well. Then they're not people who just don't drink, but drinking has kind of lost its appeal. Fluffle says, I think the vulnerable one is okay in this case. She was described as motherly. It absolutely did. It worked out well. I wasn't expecting that. Colin Envelope says, it was funny, my sister brought me a dessert this year that had alcohol in it earlier this year without realizing, and I had a hangover the next day from a dessert. Oh no! Oh no! Alright, let's ask them to join us. Katie Shee, hello! Katie says, hey everyone, this game is so bonny. This is a good game. I'm having a great time with it. The large man chuckles. We don't have guards. We need to stay sharp. No drinking, no leaving valued possessions behind. He nods towards your horse. We'll feast in winter when we get a break from this place. For now, you can rest in peace. I nod and go upstairs. Okay. Talon says, I love the music so much. It is so good. Jabal says, I do drink, but I try and make sure there are non-alcoholic versions around when I run events, etc. That's really, really good. Rowan says, drinking alcohol is an acquired taste and I've never figured out why I would want to acquire it. That's where I'm at as well. Alright, let's move on. This is such good music. By the way, everyone, Katie Shee is an absolutely amazing VTuber. She plays like a lot of Genshin and a lot of visual novels. So I think, you know, I think some of you would really enjoy her stream. I'm sure Conley Enveloped can say, I think Conley Envelopes watched some Katie Shee as well. Also, Katie's model is so cute. Like the VTuber model, it's adorable. Okay. The narrow, segmented window shutters let in a lot of light without letting the beasts inside. The air is humid, but carries not a hint of putridity. The heels of Foggy's boots make her steps thunder, even though the planks don't creak. Make yourself at home, she says without looking at you, heading to the trapdoor in the corner. I'll just grab a little something. Your ears catch the screeches of hunting birds, and the wind that leaks in through the windows. But other than that, the room is quiet. Should I just have a look around since we're here? Let's just have a look around. I think I used the wrong pronouns for you, Comley. I'm so sorry. Because Faye have seen the streams. Oof. Anyway. Let's go and have a look here. I think let's have a look around. Where does the ladder go? I look where the ladder leads. Oh, I just climb up it? Whoops. You climb up the simple rope ladder and reach the attic. It smells like a haystack. The floor is covered with animal furs, bags, and clothes. There's a soul sitting in the corner, a bearded man in his 20s who has only the right hand, though unlike the tavern keeper, he has kept the rest of his arm. His sleepy eyes observe you without a word. After he greets you with a nod, he starts to put on his boots. Okay. Calming Belt says I use Faye or she. Yes. Thank you for the reminder. So, let's see. Let's have a look in the main hall. The room is crammed with stuff. The bear pelt on the ground would be a nice resting spot, but the place doesn't look like a real home. No chests, no cabinets for clothes, no toys or tools for simple crafts that would fill the time during rainy evenings. Living with so many windows in winter would be a struggle. One could clear this place in one morning and move all that's worth saving onto a single wagon. The only things of exceptional value are the cauldron, made of pricey steel, and the hanging head of an insect-like monster. Oh wow. Oh, you can see that in the image, actually. Its mandibles don't move. The dim eyes seem intact, and its armoured head tells a long story of survival through scratches and cuts. I check the basement. Okay, this is going great. Quirrell says, who has only the right hand, the entire rest of his body is just gone apart from the levitating beard. That is definitely an interpretation. The meager light hinders your view. There are dozens of barrels, sacks, stone tools, bowls, and pieces of roasted fish or bird meat. Foggy notices you, but doesn't say anything. She looks for something among a bunch of bottles. There's a couple more animal trophies placed on the top of the barrels and leaning against the walls. Fangs, claws, monster heads, and a lizard skin. Quite a collection. These people are like hunters. I sit down at the table and wait for the keeper's return. Fluffle says I know someone like that. Just a hand. You take a glance at the blood on the table, the scattered yellow feathers, and a bowl of guts and talons. You find yourself a clean stool. Foggy shows up soon, smiling, holding a plate with fruits and a cup squeezed among them, a bottle in her fingers and a cloth under her shoulder. She puts everything on a stool and wipes the table clean. Forgive the mess, just a part of the job, she explains without a hint of apology. I'd rather dress birds in the yard, but the blood lures beasts. Sometimes the folks from Creeks bring us meals, but we need to take care of ourselves. Is Creeks the necromancers? No, White Marsh is the necromancers. Creeks is something else. Okay. But Fluffle says, and the beard. Oh, just the hand and the beard. Got it, got it. She throws the bloody cloth back into the bucket, making a splash, then sits down on a stool, making it look like it was made for a doll. She rests her elbow on the table and looks you in the eyes. Her voice is warm, yet intrusive. So, who am I dealing with? I introduce myself. The bottle removes its seal seemingly by itself. The wax floats in the air briefly, then lands on the table gently. What? Without a word, she pours a thick liquid into the cup with her only hand, but doesn't offer you any snacks just yet. Magic! Magic! Okay, okay. Alright. Our options are, I'm trying to learn more about the peninsula. A tavern seemed like a fair shot. I'm looking for Asterion, the previous Roadwarden. I'm going to need shelter every now and then. I stay on the road for most of my days. I always look for a place that will allow me to spend or gain a few coins. I was hoping to find work. If nothing else, I can always carry a message for you. I had to get here sooner or later. Okay. Well, let's ask about Asterion, because we are genuinely looking for Asterion. Oh, maybe we should open with something more friendly. I was hoping to find work. Sure, I like having jobs. Her grin makes you think of a hungry wolf. To me, you sound more like a mercenary than a road warden, but we speak in the same tongue. You'll find some work around here. She tracks her knuckles just by clenching her fist, then relaxes her hand and observes the fingers. I may have a small job for you, love. And the boys outside want to hunt. Ask them about it if you want to join them. I don't want to hunt. Just be sure you have something to defend yourself with. She points at your chest. Your jacket could use some work. Beon from Howler's Dell uses spider silk. She's like a maid with a needle. But the folks at Gale Rocks can also do some repairs. She smiles. But I haven't seen any shield by your saddle. Better visit Gale Rocks and buy yourself one. She leans back, relaxed and confident. Why now? Go ahead, have a snack. The flesh of the pear is still white. The carrot is firm and crisp. The plums can't be from here. The place lacks a stove, so they were brought here from another settlement. They have a smoky aroma of burnt hazel twigs, smelling like winter food. Such snacks would be fitting even on the plates in the Merchant Guild. Foggy leans forward with an elbow resting on the table. Well, for me, it's a lazy day. At least the rains spare us, so nicely holding on to the nights. My options are, what's the story behind this place? It can't be older than a few years. What brought you to the north? You don't look like someone who spends their life cleaning tables. You seem to be into some expensive drinks. And let's change the topic. Okay, interesting. Quirrell says her H's like to go wandering, don't they? Wandering, yes. Katie says the food descriptions are so good. They are. This is a lovely game. Okay. I'd like to know what brought you to the north. You don't know, that seems kind of rude. Let's say, what's the story behind this place? It's our third summer under the roof of Foggy Lake. The Palisade is older. Used to be a camping spot for the bird catchers from creeks, and there are fish here that don't swim in our streams. When we were but newcomers in the north, these lands were hard to bend, but the beasts got used to us with time. A melancholy crawls into her eyes. As she observes the mead in her cup, you reach for a snack. Every year or so, we added something new. The rocks for a campfire, some stools, a fence, a firewood shed, a boat. At one point, we bought the lumber from White Marshes and built a cabin like the one on the Eastern Road. More folks were resting here, even traders from Gale Rocks and Old Pagos. Plenty fine spot for an inn, aye? His smile is warm. I'm building my home from nothing, you could say, and not for the first time. How about you? Does any of it sound tempting? The White Marshes sound really tempting. The White Marshes. I am desperate to get to White Marshes. Ooh. Okay, so our options. That's the dream, a place far away from Hovlavin, somewhere where I can rest after a day of work without an aching back. My home is wherever I can find kind people. That's something I can ask myself after I've saved some dragon bones. I don't know, I like traveling in this game at the moment, honestly. My home is wherever I can find kind people. Yeah. Kayama says my home is wherever I can find kind people, the most viable possible answers. In this game, in real life, my home is a very specific place that I never leave. So... oh, we're definitely choosing where I can find kind people, though, for definite. Jabal says your home is this chat? Oh, full of kind people? Oh, I love that. She chuckles. You can always find some folks who are somewhat kind some of the time. But all of them have their limits or bad days. Without a place to return to, you're missing out on souls and their stories. She looks you in the eyes with motherly concern. Or who knows? Maybe you're different. Let's change the topic. I wanna ask about some things. What time is it? 9 hours before dusk. I can keep traveling. The necromancers! I can ask about the necromancers. First and most important question, because one of our biggest goals in this game is to meet and befriend the necromancer village. But our initial goals in the game, what were they? We want to end the trade in dragon bones, because coins in this game are made of dragon bone, and I'm not chill with it, being a dragon myself. And what was the other one? Oh, I wanted to befriend some monsters. I think we're gonna do that, though. We're definitely gonna do that. Quirrell says it's wherever Joe and Merlin are. Very true. Calmly Enveloped says, I don't feel like I ever had a home. I have lived in plenty of houses, but never felt like any of them were home, if that makes sense. It does make sense. It really does. It's a feeling I know. I'm very lucky that I've been able to live in a place that feels like home for a long time. But I went a good long number of years where I didn't have that. So, I do get it. Let's see. Have you heard anything about necromancers here in the north? She rubs her chin. I don't like what they're doing one bit, but I can't blame them. The folks at White Marshes struggle, and they don't know how to protect their kids, their elders. Orentius, their priest. She cracks her shoulders. A quiet man, but preaches like a zealot. Always looks like he's on the verge of crying. What? Okay. She opens the door with a wave of a hand, letting in some fresh air. She looks at the lake. They used to trade in lumber, those from the marshes, until Howler's Dell started selling their own trees for better prices. The trade to marshes died, and so came the hunger. She looks at you with an unclear grimace on her lips. You may judge them, but at least their preacher gave them hope, even if it's tied to black magic. Look, let's not make any, judgments here. They're in a world full of zombies anyway. Necromancy just makes sense. This is my stance. I hope these necromancers don't let me down, because I am, 100% on their side and going to bat for them so far. Katie says, absolutely makes sense. Still plenty of time ahead for you to find your home calmly. So true. That's a lovely thing to say. Fluffle says, I am glad I don't have insect mandibles in my home. You know, I'm sorry, I'm glad. Yeah, I am also glad about that. Katie says, sometimes necromancy is ethical use of available resources. Exactly. In this world, all dead bodies become zombies anyway. They all do it, so it just makes sense. Alright. Let's ask about Asterion. She looks at you for a longer moment without the slightest movement. And why do you think he's here? What? Is he here? What? I'm like, have you heard anything about Asterion, the previous warden? And she's like, why do you think he's here? That's so suspicious. Ooh, Fluffles is upcycling. Necromancy is upcycling. I love it. Okay. I'm not saying that I do, but maybe you know where I can find him. Is he here? I mean, I did actually just say, is he here? Because that was such a suspicious thing to say. But I don't think that I should actually say that to her. Let's try, I'm not saying that I do, but maybe you know where I can find him. Nobody seems to like Asterion. I misunderstood you. She shakes her head and leans on the table. I don't know his whereabouts. He didn't tell me a thing more than I needed to hear. What can you tell me about him? She rests her only hand across her stomach, which you identify as her version of crossing her arms. Okay. A customer and an errand runner. What's there to say? Your additional questions don't get many more answers. She brings up the man's looks and equipment without adding much to what you've already learned from Tulia. He was paying with dragons, rarely bartered, she adds. That's what city folk do, seeking riches and locking themselves in a chamber, prisoners of their might. It's not really what I'm aiming for. Yeah. Well, that's a really strange... It's a really strange sentiment. Not really what I'm aiming for. We'll see, love. We'll see. Okay. When was the last time you saw a Styrian? Perhaps in your house? Perhaps under the floorboards or something? That's so weird. Okay. She glances at a window. Same as the others in the late days of spring. We were waiting for his return, me and all the villagers, then moved on. I've no idea where he went. All of the villagers, you say? She turns toward you with the fierceness of a bear. That's what I said! Okay. Did he do any jobs for you? She's pressing her tongue against her cheeks and lips. Well, I'm not sure. He was bringing me news or delivering my messages. Sold me some stuff, sometimes bought a thing or two. His life wasn't really that riveting. Just another mug guzzler sitting in the corner patching his clothes. Did he sell you anything unusual? She stares at you without blinking. Such as what? Something that hints to where he went, something he found in a weird place. Something useful, maybe I could buy it back. No, something he found in a weird place. That's what I want to ask. Such tales stay between me and my guests. She nods toward the wall that separates you from the lake. This place may be open, maybe too open, but it guards secrets just fine. You don't sound especially bothered by his disappearance. That's super rude. We'll return to this later. Okay. She doesn't trust me enough to tell me what she knows about Asterion. I guess that's fair. Because she's probably buried his body out back or something. That was such a weird thing to say. I'm sure she hasn't. She seems nice, but it also was just so weird. Fluffle says perhaps then the mandibles of the insect in your house. Rowan says, I mean, she doesn't sound bothered by his disappearance. It's true. This is the first person we've met where I'm like, maybe you did have something to do with Asterion's disappearance. Do I have some things I'm willing to part with? I have a berry picking hook. No, I'd like to hang on to that. How much would you give me for this? I don't need this, but that's a nice claw. She raises it to the beam of light. Helpless? I must have lost it in the woods. I put it... maybe there. She points at a shelf with her chin. 3 dragons, more than fair. I have no money, but I don't want that deal. Surely the ability to pick berries is going to be more useful to me, right? Sario says I must go. Good luck with the necromancers. Thank you, Sario! I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. Okay. Quirrell says that was a weird reaction. It's like, I'm investigating his disappearance, and she's like, and what makes you think I killed him 47 days ago and sold his body to the geese for dark rituals? Exactly! It's a classic, I never said it was poison sort of moment. Okay. I just want to find the necromancers. Jabal, I don't know if you're here at the moment, or if, I hope you've got something to eat, because it seems every stream you need to go and get something to eat, so you might not be here. But I gotta go find the necromancers. Let's see. Jabal says, shall we head to the necromancers? It's a non-trivial journey still. Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna go. I could wash myself in the lake! I could get clean! Wait, will I be eaten by piranhas? This seems possible. Let's see. What if I wash myself in the lake? You enter the bridge and move to its edge. Somewhere below you, you notice a glimmer. Hey you! Step back! Run! Without even thinking, you leap toward the yard. A long, teeth-filled mouth breaks through the water surface, splashing it in every direction. It bites the empty space where you were just standing, while the front limbs, thick, scaled, and ending with claws as large as your fingers, land on the wood. Once the saurian's yellow eyes notice that you're outside of its reach, it nonchalantly slides into the lake. Ooh! You hear laughter coming from the yard. The large forager who's wearing leather was running with help, but now stands with hands on thighs, cackling without rest. The man in black fur, on the other hand, looks at you with worry. You see a hand kept beneath his cloak, as if he was reaching for something. What are you doing, This lake isn't for outsiders! I gasped for air and thanked them for the warning. I'll stay away, don't you worry. Okay. Alright, let's travel. Let's go. We can get out of here. We gotta get to necromancers. I was sure we met those people on the road and one of them didn't speak and was strange and cloaked and was holding a big stick. Do you remember? I was sure that was a necromancer. I was convinced we were on the outside skirts of the necromancer village. Which I have no idea which way the necromancer village is anymore. Jabal, do you have any ideas? I need the downward arrow. Thank you. This is such a journey. Downward right pointing arrow. This one. That's got to be this one. Wait. Oh no. This one? Downward right pointing. Okay. We can do that. You're not used to the scents of the bogs, but you weren't expecting them to be so gentle. Okay, we're back in the necromancer bogs. It's happening. It's happening. Thank you, Jabal. But you weren't expecting them to be so gentle. The humid air makes you think of smoked meat. And even though you ride by a few rotting carcasses and animal droppings, just as often you cross tiny meadows of pink, yellow, and red flowers. The noises tell stories of never-ending wars between the swarms of insects, frogs in their hideouts, snakes lurking among the purple grasses, birds patrolling both the water and the sky, and the saurians preparing to strike from beneath the surface. You can't separate the sounds of the living from those who are dying, if they are even different. You reach a boulder in the middle of the road, on the edge of a large pond. The road splits from here in two directions, but the only smoke you see is to the southeast. From the saddle, I see no creatures standing in my way. Okay, we're traveling again. Am I going right or am I going down? It's gonna be down, right? Quirrell says, welcome to bog knowledge. I'm not getting that reference right now. Enlighten me, enlighten me. Okay, do we go down? I think down? Jabal says, I think you need to explore both before you can get to the village. Okay, well, let's go down for now. The leafless plants resemble tree roots rather than creepers, even though they're dark green and sway from side to side slightly. Shadowfax stops without a command, unwilling to approach the nightmarish gate. There's no other path in sight. Let's see. I approach the creepers with a drawn axe. I pick up some branches and throw them at the creepers, or I use my knowledge, because I am a scholar, I'm going to use my knowledge. I can't use my knowledge. I recognize the mushroom growing behind the creepers. Once they're gone, I can pick it, but only in the middle of the day. Let's throw some branches at the creepers. Let's not attack the creepers until we know, like, what they are, right? Let's do it. You step among the muds and grasses, but some desperate creature scraped this land clean of any wood they could eat. It takes you a few moments before you find any that doesn't fall apart under your touch. Once it hits the creepers, they bend backwards swiftly, then try to reach you with a loud swish, getting a bit longer as they repeat this attempt a few times. You tell your mount to step away, but the plants don't chase after you. This is scary. Knowledge? I still can't do the mushroom. I examine the water. Wait, I can continue to travel? Is it safe to examine this water? Maybe I should just leave. Quirrell says bog knowledge was a throwaway from a draw fee video. One of them said, I don't know, I don't have your bog knowledge, which prompted the others to put on their best YouTuber voices and do a mock channel introduction. I'm name I forget and welcome to bog knowledge. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Yeah, I examine the water. I'm gonna do it. The dirty ponds are hard to see through. It takes a few minutes before you find a stick long enough to poke through the water and reach its bottom. Even at the very bank, the water is as deep as your palfrey is tall, and it's quite possible that none of these conveniently spread paths appeared here on their own. Could it be that the locals carried much of this soil by themselves, connecting the deeper bogs with the other parts of the peninsula? Do you know the thing about undead being unable to travel running water? I know this isn't running water, but what if the necromancers put it there so that the undead could cross the water? I'm just saying. Before you have time to dwell on it, you jump... No, I did dwell. You jump back, dodging the strike of a green saurian. You run away so quickly that it gives up its pursuit. Okay, I still can't do anything here. Let's travel. Let's try to... I can't get through the creepers. Let's try this one. Ooh, tense music. The road takes you to the edge of the woods. A few trees have found lucky scraps of soil towering above the water, while others, shorter and not as lush, have roots sunk in the pond. Some of the plants were felled with tools, so the root itself isn't so dark, while the few sunbeams getting through the weaker branches on your left are surrounded by darkness and swarms of insects. Help me! Help! The sudden cry, as well as screams of pain, reaches you from between the trees. A woman or child. Oh my goodness. Ooh. I think about my goal. Wait here, Shadowfax. Someone needs me. I dismount and grab my axe. I try to spot anyone. It may be a trap, and even if it's not, I can't help them. I've got to help. I don't know what kind of help they need. Why am I telling Shadowfax to wait? Why? I need to spot someone. I don't want to... Among the green and red leaves, you don't see any unusual colours. Come to think of it, there's but a few creatures in sight, other than the flies and mosquitoes. The dark-winged birds are quiet. The sparse toads let out sporadic, tense croaks. I guess I'll dismount and grab my axe. We do need their help. Quirrell says, I must go! My people need me! This is core road wardening work here, right? I'll grab my axe. You lean toward the pond. It's cleaner than in other parts of the bog, allowing you to see the bottom. Parts of it are still more than knee-deep, and the sulfuric odour makes you step away with a frown. The brownish colour can't hide all the bones and plant remains that are sticking out of the bed. I take off everything below my waist, or I have no time to waste. I rush into the water. I don't know who I'm going towards right now. So let's... The bones and plant remains. Let's... What am I taking off? I'm taking off my clothes? Why would it... Why am I taking off my clothes? Fluffle says naked? Yeah, I think I'll just... Why am I rushing into the water? Where is this person? I looked around and I couldn't see anyone. I'm saving. I'll go back. I don't think it's fair for me to only have these options. I guess I'll just rush into the water. Oh, it's made me tired. Too tired! Oh no! You get slower with every step as your pants and boots are soaked in water and mud. The cold water makes you shiver, and the sulfuric odour makes you glance at the animal bones sticking out of the pond bed. The voice doesn't stop. You gather your bravery and move forward, disturbing the sediment so much that it forms a cloud of mud after every step. You run into the trees. I look around. I follow the voice. I observe the tree crowns. Teferax, hello! Teferax says, how goes the wardening? I didn't take off my trousers to jump into a bog to follow a voice where I don't know where it's coming from. And it has cost me all of my energy. So not great. It's lovely to have you here today. I'm sure I could use your wisdom. Okay, I'm gonna look at the tree crowns. You move deeper in, but your clothes turn every step into a struggle. You don't spot anything peculiar among the branches until your eyes land on an unusual grey bird, which seems to open its beak just at the same time as you hear a painful shout. Oh no! I did save. A dark shape is descending toward you from the very same tree. Did the bird want the help, or is this bird tricking me? I catch it. You reach out to it and the hit lands on your chest. You plunge into the water, getting pinned down to the mud by massive paws. You're choking, hearing only splashes. I need to get out of the water. I have no energy. I'm gonna die! Ah! Talon says I thought we took the option not to drink. I know. And yet my decisions. Teferac says life lessons always take trousers off before impulsive decision making. See if only I'd known. Okay. The cat's legs are bent, ready to jump, wide and muscular. Its eyes, staring at you without a blink, are round and yellow, with pitch black irises in the center. It's waist high, with its chin hanging just above the water, and a jaw that could bite off your limb in a heartbeat. It has short hair and whiskers, and a nose as big as your hand. Even without the dirt, it's almost black, with glimpses of yellow that form a rose-like pattern on its sides and dots on its head, so it's a panther. You can't see the creature's paws through the now clouded water. The cat lets out a growl, like a saw cutting a log. It's unscathed, confident. I take a defensive stance, I run away, or if the human voice is still around, I try to focus on it. I can't run away. I'm in water that it's impossible to move in, and this cat is definitely more mobile than me. I don't know if that bird was definitely tricking me. Teferac says I need to give them a big smoosh option, please. I know! I don't want to fight the kitty. Quirrell says insufficient bog knowledge. Oh no. I'm gonna focus on the human voice. I'm gonna get kilted right now. Okay. The screams have disappeared, and you notice the sudden noise of flapping wings coming straight at you. You instinctively take a swing. I'm killing a bird? The blade sends the halves of the raven-sized creature into the water to the enjoyment of the local scavengers. A few grey and red feathers are drifting next to you. I raise the axe and look at the cat. I want to go back. I can't countenance. No. Please. No, I would have come to help. I made a bad decision not taking off my trousers, but I would have come to help this person. I raise the axe and look at the cat. The cat roars towards its dead companion, then looks into your eyes. So they were tricking me. Interesting. They're a hunting pair. As it moves forward, you don't see any wounds on its shell. I try to stay safe, looking for an opportunity to make a precise strike. I keep the beast at a distance, playing for time. Should I play for time or should I just run? Sabira says, not sure that if there is a person, pretty sure the shouts were the bird. Yeah. Jabal says, yeah, some things in this game just want to kill you, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can do about these. I don't think I can run away. I'm going to roll the dice and keep the beast at a distance. You keep your distance, then duck as the beast jumps at you. So far, your reflex is beyond reproach. After a few breaths, the cat prepares itself for another pounce. Let's hope it's not too patient. The cat roars towards its dead companion and looks into your eyes. Okay, it's the same thing. Can I just run away then? I run. I lose all of my armor. Right after your foot hits one of the roots hidden beneath the floating sludge, you realize that crossing the water is going to take some time, a luxury that you don't have. The bird and the cat try to get to you again, tearing the armor on your back. The bird is not trying to get to me. The bird has been cut in half. Ooh, fleeing is not an option. Okay. I keep the beast at a distance, playing for time again. You keep your distance and duck as the beast jumps at you, but you poorly place your feet on the muddy ground. The cat manages to reach your stomach with its claws, slashing through your armor, then leaps away. After a few breaths, it prepares itself for another pounce. You're bleeding, your gambeson was already in such a bad shape that it made little difference. Struggling, I hold my axe in front of me, then prepare for the next clash. The cat observes you with new respect, surprised that you're still standing. It looks at its dead companion and, without a second thought, leaps away, then partially swims. That's not how animals behave. Crossing the pond with a speed matching your palfrey's gallop. You consider following it, but after it reaches a tree crown with just 2 jumps, then gets to another one within a single breath, you wipe your forehead and turn away. Gasping, wet, and frustrated, you hobble back to the beaten path. Shadowfax seems worried, and you try to ease its soul with a few encouraging words, hoping it will leave you alone for a minute. You consider washing your clothes, but you'd need a washtub for it, if not a stream. You put on as many dry clothes as you can find, hoping your wet boots won't give you a cold. At least I know no soul is in danger. At least we looked. I want to be the kind of person who looks. We're continuing the travel, everyone. Teferaxis, come on, AI Dungeon. Get your object permanence straight. Roadwarden has significantly better object permanence than AI Dungeon, which just... AI Dungeon cannot remember longer than the last sentence. No matter what people told me about putting things in the memory, it just couldn't remember. Alright, we're alive. We've lost all of our armor, lots of our health. We're wet, sticky, things are bad. I'm probably not going to make the good impression on the necromancers I was hoping to make, but I'm alive, so we're just going to carry on. Alright. Ooh. You ride along shallow waters on... Wow. You ride along shallow waters on one side and flooded trees on the other. You reach what seems like the end of the road. The turn south is already overgrown, most likely abandoned after it was devoured by the bog. But as you look north, you see a wide clearing that, with time, has become a meadow, and a lonely hut at the end of an oft-travelled path. At first you ride down slightly, following the twisted trail. There's plenty of puddles around, as well as brown, grey, and purple grasses, but all of them are too short for any lurking predators, and the few foxes you see far away don't pay you any attention. You pass by the fresh tracks of heavy, hoofed beasts, but spot no wild game in sight. Your ears can't free themselves from the birds, rodents, and dragonflies, along with the splashes of your soaked clothes slapping against your mount. Oh no. Ooh. Rowan says, gotta attend a work meeting now. Drat it. Thanks for the stream, VO. Thank you for being here, Rowan. I hope the meeting goes okay and passes quickly. Okay. We need to ride carefully. If Shadowfax's leg sinks into the mud, it may get broken. Yes, let's look after Shadowfax, first and foremost. The farther north you ride, the shorter the grass gets. These vast peat fields, broader than 2 or 3 villages placed side by side, are many years old. The turf bricks surrounding the solitary huts are still fresh, drying in the late summer light. The scent of this area is like that of no bog you've ever encountered. Instead of a sublime aroma of healthy soil, it's intense, sulphury, leaving an almost sour taste on your tongue. The short scarp... What's a scarp? Hang on. Is dripping with water, like a running sore of the earth, carved with spade and muscle. I'm googling scarp right now. Hang on. A very steep bank or slope, an escarpment. Oh! Okay, yeah, I know escarpment. Interesting. The house, made of birchwood, dried turf, and a blanket of soil, is a structure you're not too familiar with, but you imagine its interiors are much smaller than they appear to be. The walls are a few feet thick to keep in the warmth, and such roofs tend to get soggy until they collapse after a decade or so. The only soul in sight is sitting on the bench, stuffing his mouth with fistfuls of green leaves that he takes out of a small basket placed on his knees. Interesting. I introduce myself and for now stay in the saddle. Necromancer? Maybe? Maybe? Still chewing, he mutters something in response, then shakes his hairy head, swallows, and puts the basket away. He stands up and takes a single step forward, approaching the edge of the scarp. His arms are entangled by green creepers, longer than he is tall. They rub against the ground after each step, and judging by the way they occasionally twitch, they're very much alive, even though you can't see where they originate from. He's got creepers coming all over him, like moving creepers. Ooh. Strider, the Roadwarden, he repeats, this time clearly. He moves his sealed lips left and right, as if he's tasting your name. What? What? He sealed lips? Or no, he just closed his lips. Okay, sorry. Still not sure if he should swallow it or spit it out. Bathing in the bogs, I see. He mocks your wet clothes. Your face is familiar, but not this. He points at your mount, staring at it for a good minute. What? Who are you? His voice is quiet and young, not older than 30. If you were standing next to each other, he would be almost a head shorter than you, but for now he towers over you. He has sunken cheeks and sloped shoulders, and while his grey woolen robe was never pretty, it's now close to being a rag, and his sandals reveal long toenails. I observe him more closely. Ooh. Jabal says some of Aureus' turns of phrase and word choices are really interesting. I wonder if part of it may be influenced by the English as second language aspect of his writing. He does pick words I wouldn't think of sometimes, which I enjoy a lot. Yeah, it is really... definitely, I do like that about this. Puffle says more closely. I know, we were inspecting this man's toenails, but we're looking closer. It's a great game. So let's see. His eyes are as brown and dark as the grasses of this very bog. His left earring is made of a tusk and a feather, while the right one is an hourglass made of silver, though a broken wing makes it at all times tilted under its own weight. The leather strips on his wrists and ankles hold beads, pieces of amber, old game dice, and tiny skulls of birds and critters. He's a TTRPG player. Sorry, okay. Even more cords are hanging from around his neck, some of them so long they reach his stomach. They carry countless amulets, some of them torn, dried, shabby, or fragmented, and you spot among them small boxes made of wood and bone, as well as leather pouches, which hide even more secrets. Were you here before? Mayhap I dreamt you in my sleep. His voice and look are absent. If so, I'm Thyrsis, the Turf Warden. The Turf Warden! The Turf Warden! Everyone's like, yes, our people. D20's in my hair. Like Bobbles, TTRPG player. Katie says, dang, English isn't their first language. They write so well, and it is true. It's so fluent and descriptive and pretty. Jabal says, I would 100% play in Thyrsis' D&D game. It would be trippy as hell, but really cool. Okay. Our approach. Friendly. Is warding turf difficult? That doesn't sound super friendly, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're letting me down. Playful. I run my eyes over the wet scarp. Shouldn't you ward your home out of here? The earth beneath it is going to collapse? That doesn't sound playful. Why am I being so mean? I mean, I know he was mean, but I do look like shit. Like, not to put too fine a point on it, but... distanced. Dreamt? Intimidating. Wake up while I'm here, Thyrsis. We have things to discuss. I don't like that. Vulnerable? I keep looking at the creepers dangling from his sides. I hope I'm not bothering you, Warden. I need some guidance through these bogs. I like vulnerable. I am vulnerable right now. Teferac says, but you are wearing trousers. I am vulnerable and I am wearing trousers. Exactly. What does everyone think? Give me your opinions. I feel like I've been making some bad decisions today. I need the wisdom of chat, I think. I am curious about dreamt, but I know it's distanced, but it seems interesting. Kayama says this whole scene feels off somehow, like we're operating on dream logic all of a sudden. It does. Katie says vulnerable? Yeah. Calmly Enveloped says everybody has a different level of playful. Perhaps you were just reading their level of playful. Oh, maybe. Fluffle says, at least you have trousers. At least I have trousers. Teferac says, I think your character would absolutely be in a vulnerable mindset right now. That would be reasonable. Okay, let's go vulnerable. You do? There isn't a thing behind me, nor east to fear. All you can do is turn back. He looks at you in silence, then yawns loudly. His teeth are yellow, but don't seem to be neglected, at least from this far. You're off the main road, stranger. What for? Our options are some plants are blocking the way to White Marshes. How about the road south from here? I need to go to White Marshes. Do you live here all by yourself? Or I found a scrap of land that I think may be cursed, though I'm not sure how to examine it. These are all interesting. I'm interested in the cursed land. I'm interested in... I want to go to White Marshes. Let's talk to him first and find out about him, because this guy is fascinating. Talon says this stream is full of beautiful out-of-context quotes. Yeah, I didn't really think about how all that trousers stuff would sound out of context. True. Do you live here all by yourself? Yep. Warlocking, peddling, garden turf. My tribe dug out what they cad this summer. I just keep dragons away from squashing the bricks. There's actual dragons in this world. Urgh. Sorry. Your eyes turn west, following the man's raised finger, and you indeed notice a distant trail of massive three-fingered footprints, now turned into small puddles. They're as long as your torso with pointy claws, one of which appears to be broken at its tip. Ooh. This guy... Turf Wardens keep dragons away? Huge dragons? That's very impressive. Fluffle says they gotta get the bones somewhere. This is why we have to end the trade in dragon bones. Because I'm trying to tell myself, you know, maybe these dragon bones, maybe dragons died out a really long time ago. But no. Let's see. I found a scrap of land that I think may be cursed. And you're saying the rest of the north isn't cursed? He lets out a chuckle. Seeing how you still wait for his advice, he raises one of his creepers and, looking in the distance, scratches it. I've no cure for that, but ask Eudocia, a witch from the other side of the woods, far east. Mayhap she has a wand or something. Okay. There are some plants blocking the way to White Marshes. How about the road south? With a horse and no guide, you get swallowed in no time. By monsters in the mud. He raises his hands, waggling his fingers, as if he's casting a curse. My green pets keep the troublemakers away. But I could make an exception for a warden, one willing to prove they bring gifts, not troubles. I don't have any money or any things. Oh no. Sibira says, I think I want to be Thyrsis when I grow up. Yeah, I'm interested for sure. This is cool. What's the toll? He reaches for his basket and places it on the lower edge of the scarp, crouching right behind it. You look inside. Indeed, it's filled with wild leaves, flowers, and berries. Give me enough for a day or so, and I'll bend the vines for a day or so. Okay. Will a food ration be fine? Very fine. He licks his lips, and once he spots a piece of jerky among your gifts, he reaches for it right away. With a full mouth, he snaps his fingers and mutters something with satisfaction. Okay. Do you think I can ask the Pete question without being really rude to Thyrsis? I'm curious what he is guarding. Fluffle says you want to grow up to Siberius. Love it. I think I can do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Katie says I think it's a good question. Let's do it. He looks at the nearby bricks and frowns as if he's seeing them for the first time. Sure, kind of, I think. You ask him to tell you about them, but he admits it's the others who harvest it. I'm meant to pile it all up into rickles. He points at a small dolmen-shaped structure. What's a dolmen? Hang on. A megalithic tomb with a large flat stone laid on upright ones. Ooh, I'm learning much today. This is good. But I'm always so busy, he grins. You ask him what turf is good for, and he starts to tap his toes. You can build with it, you can burn it, add it to the soil, and it's great for smoking meat. We used to dig it slowly and barter for stone and timber, but we've changed our ways. Cool. Do you have anything to sell? Warlock. Okay. I'm sure I can't buy anything, but... Jabal says I grew up next to an old peat fen? Oh, that's cool. He eagerly smiles and steps away, reaching to the doorknob with his right creeper. Odds and ends? Want to buy a hook? Venturers love those, and I've got it for cheap. He doesn't give you time to respond. On most days, I brew and mix stuff for poisons and medicine, if one's desperate enough to cross the bogs for it. I've one that withers plants, one that kills worms and bugs, and one that keeps flies away for better health. Oh, the fly potion! You pause. You're quite sure that you're more than capable of making all the balms and powders he just mentioned on your own, if you had an alchemy table at hand. You mention it and he huffs loudly, already standing in the threshold. You're not touching my tools, Warden, but I may have some woundwort and marsh bules for you, and there are mushrooms in the bogs. Let me take a look. Okay. I have 1 money. A bone hook, used as a grappling hook. Withering dust that withers plants. Keeps in a jar that keeps insects away, and a jar that kills bugs. Interesting. Okay. Let's go. So can we keep going this way? Katie Shee says, I used to live in peat cutting land, but I didn't know half of these terms. Very educational. It's difficult to cut peat long term. It takes a long time to recover. Oh, really? Quirrell says these are some excellent things we can't afford. I agree. Let's keep going. The road twists between the flooded purplish grasses. The field ahead of you is still green, bearing the second sowing of broad beans. Maybe the third one, if the land allows it. I have no energy, right? No, it's just my appearance. My appearance is very bad. I'm barely standing. Oh no. Ugh, okay. The workers ignore you. Everyone! Some of them are nothing but bones. Some carry scraps of flesh, wearing them like forgotten rags, and others look almost human, as if they were awoken right after death. Most of the witless shells move around piles of soil, carry wooden logs, or dig in the ground with their bare hands, but there are also those with considerable abilities. They use pitchforks, hoes, and splitting axes, and confidently cross the uneven ground. There's only a few breathing souls in sight. They observe your passing, but keep their distance. We found them! It's happened! Ooh! I keep the blade at hand just in case. They aren't attacking me, so I don't need to be afraid. The people who live here seem to have everything under control. Yes, they're not attacking me. Why should I keep a sword out? It's just rude. Okay. Well, an axe out. Necromancers! We finally found them! Oh, yes! Yes! I'm just like dancing at my my desk. Ooh. Let's do some bouncing. Okay. Oh, we did it! Oh, I love that ghost wolf. Very good. The guards let you in without questioning. The entrance and the wall in general were recently constructed, though are still not finished. There will soon be yet another gate, allowing for trade and conversations without opening the village to danger. Just like in the fields, the work is divided between the undead, who carry bricks and take care of the most thankless tasks, while the locals cut rocks and spread mortar. The difficult past is still carved in the villagers' gaunt faces and crude outfits, and their brief glances show little curiosity. A few of them sharing a meal right next to the well, and the victuals in their baskets consist of green leaves, fruits, eggs, and cuts of roasted meat, the food of foragers. You're told to wait here for the mayor. Don't roam on your own. The guard's voice is harsh, despite the stutter. I tether Shadowfax at a small shed. Shadowfax, you just stay there, and feel free to share any facts about light and darkness to anyone you see. Okay. Okay. The man shows up soon after with a careless saunter, and he hardly spares you a look, instead staring at your palfrey. The stranger from the forest garden. Can I guess why you'd come here? Who are you even? His stature would be considered average in most villages, but in comparison to the rest of his tribe, he's portly, muscular, tall, and with a large, square face. His hands are resting on the shaft of the poleaxe placed across his shoulders, making him seem even larger. His long, straw-coloured beard is shabby and makes his bald head look shiny. You can't really tell how old he is, though you see no wrinkles. Just like the others, he's wearing prominent charms, favouring tiny figurines of animals made of wood and bone. Only one of them is hanging from his neck, a silver amulet portraying the head of a moose with large antlers. While valuable, it looks older than the other critters and quite crude in form. I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Strider. I'm a huge fan of your work. Oh, we did it! We're here! He sizes you up. And I'm Helvius. Who let you in? Was it Thyrsus? He's as much a gatekeeper as a fly's a warden to a piece of shit. He tells you. He gives you a telling frown. Okay, so you didn't want Thyrsus to let me in. But joke's on you. Thyrsus and me had an instant connection, so... Katie She's Strider getting in line for the signing. Yep. Tefrex says, OMG, I've always wanted to be a necromancer. Yeah, okay, our options. Okay, this is important. This is probably the last thing we're going to do on this stream. We're going to make this decision. Friendly. I'm not one to badmouth others behind their backs. Yeah, Thyrsus was fine. Playful? Who knows, I half whisper. Maybe I got here all by myself, chopped those creepers into a salad. I mean, I didn't. Distanced. I'm sure he realized I may be of use here. Sure. Intimidating? I smile. Watch your tone? No. What a useless option. Why is that even in the game? Vulnerable. I shrug. He could tell I won't hurt you. Yeah, that seems fine too. I'm most into friendly and vulnerable, but I'm interested in everyone's opinions. Let me know what you think. Quirrell says, given that V's character is a pagan and a scholar, I'm surprised there wasn't any analysis of what the charms meant. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like I'm not getting enough, like, feedback from having made that decision thus far, you know? Katie She says, vulnerable seems like a winner again. I agree. Teferax agrees. Katie says, friendly is good too. Yeah, friendly's good. I mean, even playful and things have some value, but I don't know. That doesn't sound like that playful to me. I don't know. We've chosen playful a few times, but only when I liked what it was saying. Nine says, oh, so Kiyama says, this guy obviously doesn't trust you. I think the vulnerable approach would be a good olive branch. Yeah, okay. Fluffle says, what was friendly again? Friendly was, I'm not one to badmouth others behind their backs, because he's saying bad stuff about Thyrsus. But that said, I'm not actually being very friendly to him by saying that. Yeah, I might go vulnerable. There's been a lot of support for vulnerable, and I quite like it as well. I shrug. He could tell I won't hurt you. They have, like, zombies everywhere. I can't fight these people. I don't know why I would even pretend that I could. Harmony Velvet says, thank you for the stream, Vio. It was great hanging out with you and all in chat too. Oh, thank you for being here. Okay. He could tell I won't hurt you. Okay. And we're not going to read the answer right now. We're going to save. And we're going to quit, everyone. Everyone, thank you so much for the company. This has been really, really good. I can't wait to continue this next week. I'll be back on Friday with the Wandering Village again, where I think things are going pretty well. We might be heading towards actual scientific progress next stream, so that's exciting. I wish you all a lovely rest of the week, and yeah, I'll see some of you soon, hopefully. Goodbye, everyone.